Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Really, in this report, it's all about water. Where you have it, where you're going to have too much of it, and quite honestly, in some areas, primarily along the coast, where you might run out of it. It all depends on how cold it really gets, right? The colder it is, the lower the rivers will get, less water can get into them, and then, of course, vice versa, right? You're seeing a lot of the temperatures come up now. We'll check in with Katie Sneega in just a little bit and find out how much that's really going to happen. But you'll be able to see here when we get to the river levels that things changed quite a bit since yesterday. All of them, even along the coast, inland, and north of us, into Washington, that is, southwest Washington. They were forecasted to have not a huge bounce. Some of them, you know, pretty significant bounces, but they've all kind of leveled off. And that could be for a couple of different reasons, but in the end, they are going to change, but I think for the better. Rather than having a low spot, which would have been today and tomorrow, that little window that we referred to yesterday, and then all of a sudden a big 3-foot bounce in some of the river systems at the very least. Now it's all kind of leveled off a little bit, which is a darn good thing because it just extends that opportunity to stay on the fish, again, if you're targeting winter steelhead. So let's just take a quick look at the river levels, see what those changes really were. Yesterday, if you remember, on my home river, it was supposed to bounce up into the 18s and get just below the action stage. Yes, it's going to be pretty high. Right now, it's in the 15s, 14.1. It's going to get into the 15s and kind of level off. Is that a lot of water? Yes, it's a lot of water, but it makes it a little bit more predictable on where they're going to be. Tight usually, but depending on the sections of the river that you're in, if you're bank fishing or drift boating or jet boating, it's going to change where these fish are going to be. Say if it was going to be in the 12s like it was just a handful of days ago. Right? So for me, it makes it a little bit more predictable. So the water's a little bit more off color. Fish aren't quite as spooky. A little bit bigger baits, maybe eggs, as opposed to just running beads, whatever it might be. Big pink worms on jig heads, whatever. Larger profile can be an advantage, especially if they're only 3 or 4 feet out in front of you if you're standing on the bank. Don't overlook that. We've talked about that a lot. But this is actually really, if I were fishing this week, and I won't be, just being honest, I would not be afraid of these conditions. It's a lot of water. If the clarity will work with you, it's a darn good thing. Or for all of us that love to be on the bank plunking, I'm just saying, find those locations that you like along the north coast. Not quite as dramatic, but again, very stable. All those north coast rivers. Yes, this is the Wilson. This is the aluminum hatch. Sure, if you're the smart ones, you let everybody else go there. But anyway, you can see that they're all very stable. After bounces like this on the Silettes, this river is going to be very stable. Fish are going to be in, they're going to hang out, and again, a little bit more predictable, right? But all of them are going to be that way. You can actually see, look, the LC actually just completely changed. There were some pretty significant bounces that they were still forecasting yesterday, so I'm very interested to see. It's got to be freezing level or something along those lines that kind of dropped them down. But this upcoming week, you should have some good opportunities if you can get out there, take advantage of it when you can, and in the right areas, just make sure you're careful because there's still snow and stuff on the ground in areas, which should melt off quickly. Anyway, if you love ProCure products and you don't want to pay for it, send an email to Jason, and he will get you entered in to be a weekly winner of this winter steelhead prize pack, at least slanting that way. You can use it for a lot of different reasons. Like I just mentioned, though, when you're talking about freezing levels, this and that, what's going to happen with the rivers, nobody's better at it than Katie. Looks like things are going to be pretty mild this upcoming week.
I think so. We have a warm front coming, and so that's where our temperatures, they'll get some warmer air finally coming in to replace all the cold air. And that still makes showers. It's not just cold fronts that make showers, warm fronts do too. It's just going to take a little while for the gorge and sort of for the mouth of the gorge, like east around Troutdale, to warm up a little longer than everybody. So much so that we've had that ice storm warning right through here. And it actually looks like since I pressed the button and came out, it got lifted. It was supposed to be through the day today, and now it's not there anymore. So, hey, look at that. That's an improvement, spot on, tracking these conditions as they happen. So there's the freezing rain right there, and it looks like things aren't going to be as icy or dicey through that part of the region, but we are looking at rain all the way through. You see showers. We have a surface level low that passed by, and then by the time we get to Tuesday, morning, this is right around 2 o'clock. By this point, you'll see maybe a sunbreak or two. Things will lighten up. So we still should have a few showers here or there. It's not going to be completely dry, but not as much Monday afternoon into Tuesday. Then you see Wednesday, this is 2 o'clock in the morning. That next round comes in. How much are we looking? Well, we definitely have some disagreement in different models. Some are saying up to an inch. This one's saying a little more than that, closer to 1.25 inches, or maybe more like 1.5 inches. I'd say it's a little closer to that. And most of that you can see is Sunday, Monday, and then in through Monday afternoon into Tuesday morning. Here's what you have for your 7-day forecast. And there it is, Owen, those 50-degree days. Those are the 2 warmest days that we have on our 7-day. I look at that and I think it was just 15 degrees here like a week ago. And now we're looking at 50.
I love it. I mean, I don't mind the 15 degrees either, but things are starting to wind down on my favorite thing in the world to do. So I'd like to see some flip-flop weather come up not too far away. So
yeah, I remember we had a conversation about that last summer. It had to be like 80, didn't it, for you to get your flip-flops on?
Oh God, no. If I see a 6 in front of something and it's not pouring rain, they're back. I'm sorry. I'm so tired of wearing shoes. I'm just kidding. Katie, thank you. Have a great week, okay?
Yeah.
All right, everyone, we're going to cut to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Cameron Black on, I was about to say on the line, in the studio. We're going to talk steelhead. A couple of different ways specifically that he brought in today to talk about, and we can talk about how things will be going this upcoming week and maybe some advice that could, well, hopefully help you become more successful when you get out there. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with Cameron Black from Gone Catch It Guide Service.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.